Inner workings brought me a lot of income. Inner workings equals income. The self-investment strategies is the spiritual solution. That's what's gonna lead you to your purpose. Your purpose is gonna lead you to monetizing your skill set. Because when you're doing your gifts, you're just really working your skills. Whether you're working them for yourself or you're working them for somebody else. Documentation, y'all know content is golden, but like documentation, your journey, that's everything. What I found in my experience is like people buy into you. They buy services, they like our products, but ultimately they buying into you. You know what I'm saying? So if you, anytime you can bring them into your experience, bring them into your journey, bring them into your way of building your business vulnerably, like that's always gonna be to your advantage. Because, you know, people, especially with social media, like people, they create this image of it's all cookie cutter, like everything's all good, instant gratification, like, you know, everything's going well. You know what I'm saying? But in all actuality, we need to know the grit. We need to know the grind. We need to know the emotional alchemy that you're going through throughout this entrepreneurship. Because the entrepreneurship journey is a spiritual journey. This is a spiritual agenda. Y'all know that, right? You know that, right?
You got to define that a little bit more for me.
Well, you're an entrepreneur. You're in real estate, right? You consider yourself an entrepreneur?
A business owner.
Why not an entrepreneur?
I don't do it full time. I still have my military work that I do, and then I still work in the pharmaceutical industry as well.
That's smart.
Yeah.
That's security. I wouldn't undermine you as an entrepreneur though, because I was just checking out this guy. He's actually an entrepreneur. He promotes a 9-to-5 and running your own business type of philosophy, and it works for him. Him and his wife run a business. They run a $6-7 figure business, but they still hang on to their jobs. That's their whole like ideology. You know what I'm saying? I'm just throwing that out there. But the reason why I say entrepreneurship is a spiritual journey is because you learn so much new things about yourself. So many, you pulling all these things out of yourself, all these different skill sets that you never even knew, all this inner communication, all this inner dialogue, and all this adds up into what you're putting out. As entrepreneurs, this goes into, I guess we're gonna go ahead and get right into it. This goes into the spiritual bank accountability. Because when you get to talking that inner dialogue, when you get to having that inner dialogue with yourself, and when you offering your services, and when you talking to these people, if your inner communication ain't right, how you gonna properly communicate your offer? If your inner communication is not on point, how you gonna talk to these people about how your product is gonna change their lives and how it's gonna impact them if your inner dialogue and your inner communication is not on point? You know what I'm saying? So the spiritual agenda, it takes a spiritual agenda to be a big spender. You know what I'm saying? So the entrepreneurship journey is a spiritual journey. Also too, your business is a spiritual entity. It's a spiritual entity that you're building, that you're molding, that you're pouring into. We were just talking about this. It's not separate from you. It's a part of you. It's something that you embody. So with you building that and you going through that and your back is basically up against the wall because you are the money. You are making your paycheck. You are making your way through by way of your services, by way of your skill sets that you develop within you by finding you. You understand what I'm saying? So the entrepreneurship is a spiritual agenda. It's a spiritual trip. But I wanted to ask y'all. I appreciate that too. That was a good intro. So I go by the name. Let's back up a little bit. I go by the name of Oace. I started a business called Supreme Wellbeing. My business comes strictly out of manifestation of my existence. My business came from by way of me going on a deep, deep self-discovery and spiritual healing journey. I built my business from the ground up, from my own existence, from basically nothing by way of being a disciple of discipline. The more discipline I implemented in my life, the more successful my business became. When I first became, before I even knew I was an entrepreneur, I went on a journey of eating plants. I changed my dietary law, which basically changed my thought patterns, which led me down a road of coming into an entrepreneur, right? So within building my business called, within creating Supreme Wellbeing, I had no idea what a Supreme Wellbeing was. So my business was such a spiritual journey to the point where it was like a revelation. I had an epiphany. I'll never forget it. I'm gonna tell y'all this story. I woke up on my son, mother couch, and I basically had a sick of my own shit moment. You know what I'm saying? I had been plant-based probably about 3 or 4 years at the time. This was coming into COVID, and I woke up and I said, this is the day that I changed my life. And I started self-sharing. I immediately started self-sharing because I started understanding how valuable my lifestyle was, especially when COVID hit. People were looking to build their immune system, they're looking to eat more healthy. I had already been doing that, right? So the more I self-shared, the more I started relating to people, resonating with people and establishing authority along my entrepreneurship journey. I already had trust that I didn't even know that I had by way of me sharing my lifestyle prior to COVID, which led me down to my business model, which led me down to my business name, which led me down to knowing who I am on a deeper level of being an entrepreneur, a deeper level of me and my purpose, first of all, because my business is my purpose. I said we have a saying that I said on the track, Supreme Wellbeing is my reason for being. Now, this is how I know Supreme Wellbeing is my reason for being, because I didn't know what a Supreme Wellbeing was before I got the name for it. It came to me, just as like when you go to church or the temple or the mosque and they say, oh, I got a revelation, or I got a prophetic feeling or a precognitive hunch. That's what it was for me. This is how I know entrepreneurship is deeper than just having a business. Some people it is. Some people have businesses where they just have a business and they might sell hair or they might do this and they're totally separate from it, and that's fine. You understand what I'm saying? But when we're talking about this, is you're not just building a business, you're building a life. That's what you're building. This is your life. I take this very seriously because without it, I probably wouldn't have a life. I would be down under depression, anxiety. That's why one of the questions I wanted to ask y'all was like, what kind of effect does money have on you? Like, when you find yourself with money, without money, looking for money, how to have money, how do you feel? How do you feel? I'm really interested to know. We can go down the line. I like intimate settings like this. Ain't a lot of people here. We can really get to it. I lay everything on the table. What kind of effect does money have on you?
So of course, when everything is up and going, going well and it's looking right, bank account looking right, you are in I find myself in I guess a better mood. And then when, at times when things may not be looking right, things are looking a little shaky,
Mm-hmm.
you find yourself a little bit more stressed because you're trying to figure it out, this, that, and the third. However, I'm also a very deeply faith-based individual.
Mm-hmm.
So I pray, I let it go, and I make a plan as well.
Right.
To move forward and how I'm going to do it. And then I do what I have to do, get on the phone, whatever the case may be, try to put a plan in place. But I'm not going to lie and say that it doesn't affect me or affect some type of my mood depending on what bill may be due.
Mm-hmm.
If they are movable or not, just a whole lot of different things. So it can affect your mood, but I try not to stay there either.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely. I like that. Anybody else want to share?
Well, you mentioned food earlier, so the effect money have on me can affect what I eat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, emotional eating.
What
Mm-hmm.
I choose to eat or not eat based on how my money's looking.
Right.
I agree with the emotional mood swings as well. Like, patience is low, like I don't have time, or I'm constantly thinking about how can I make it back, how can I flip, like strategizing so much. I've had, over time, I've learned not to be money hungry. So not to be trying to seek to make that return back in a monetary gain.
Mm-hmm.
And taking a faith-based approach that it's gonna come back to me.
Absolutely.
So I had got a little bit more money recently, and I sowed a seed into the church. And that same evening, somebody offered me that exact amount of money that I sowed somewhere else. And it came back, but it came back, and I'm gonna give you some money to go for you and the kids to go and eat. And I didn't expect for it to come back that fast, but it did, and I didn't have to try. I didn't have to go looking for it. I didn't have to ask for it. It was there.
Mm-hmm.
So
Dollars want you. That's what that dollars want you. It's a book called by Henry Brown. If y'all ever want to look that up, it's called Dollars Want You, and he talks a lot about how there's no liberty in him who feels limited to the want of a dollar. So let's hold on to that. But you said something very profound to me. You said sometimes, depending on my feeling of money, it depends on how I'm eating and my diet and what I'm putting in, because I'm eating emotionally. That's the emotional transactions within your spiritual bank account and how you feel around finance. So now you're eating things and you might be putting things in your body. That's your best investment. Your best investment is your self-investment. The wealth talk is just the wealth. The self-talk is the wealth talk. The self-investment is your best investment. When you investing in yourself, the best thing you can do when you're going through emotional transactions behind money is to put the most valuable, the most nutritious things inside of your body, because that's your best investment is you. That's your best investment is you. So when you and sometimes it could be hard. I'm gonna come to that. Sometimes it could be hard to think like that within that time. But sometimes I can feel so rich in health. I can feel so rich in creativity. I can feel so rich in healing that the monetary, I have such a grasp on the priceless assets of life. I feel so rich inside. Gaining wealth is all in the feeling. It's all in the feeling. That's what it is. That's the wealth that you want. It comes from the feeling of actually having the wealth, not the imagery of having the wealth. Like I said in that video that I made, that was very profound too, because sometimes think about the people that we know that buy all these materialistic things, but they're miserable inside. They buying all these things, they like these expensive things, and they putting on this whole imagery of perception of they're so happy, and you talk to them and they just can't live with themselves. They can't. They go out, they got a $100,000 car, and they getting a 5 for 5 from Wendy's, putting in their body. You know what I'm saying? We've totally lost grasp of what the most valuable asset is when it comes to building finance and knowing what your best investments are, what your best investment is, and that's you. That's yourself. It's the self-investment. The self-investment is the spiritual solution to all your problems, financial, environmental, social, all the problems. It comes back to you. Now, that's easy to say when we ain't got no money or we got insufficient funds. But a lot of the insufficient funds comes from the inner world that we're dealing with within us. That's what we're going to talk about more. But go ahead. I know you had a question. I can.
Oh no, I was gonna
Okay.
say the other part of that is me being very intentional about when I have money or even the lack of money, being intentional about the words that come out of my mouth and what I speak over the situation.
When you speak over the situation, what you're saying to yourself.
What I'm saying to myself and what I'm throwing out there in the atmosphere, whether it's negative, whether it's positive, no matter what it may look like to my natural eye, still making sure what comes out of my mouth is what I want to see.
Absolutely. And that's what you see. That's the affirmation people always say is the manifestation of what I want. What I want, I manifest what I want. You don't manifest what you want, you manifest what you are. So when you speaking those things to yourself, you have to, it's all in the feeling. Do you feel rich? Do you feel like that you have the skill sets that you need to generate this revenue? Do you feel like your business is valuable enough to impact people for them to give you money? Do you feel like you're chasing the bag, or does the bag chase you? You understand what I'm saying? I wake up in the morning to emails. I don't worry about money because I'm constantly adding value to myself. So I got this philosophy that calls skill set map. Skill set map, you need a postal stamp because we sticking to the destination. You know what I'm saying? We sticking to it. But your skill sets is what's going to get you, it's going to get the bills met. The skill set is going to get the bills met. So when I say adding value to yourself, well, always how do we add value to ourselves as business owners, as entrepreneurs, contract workers that use their skill in different places to be able to get money with different companies? That's also a form of entrepreneurship because you're using your skill to gross and bring in revenue, right? And that's like for me, I feel like, in my opinion, that's like an entrepreneurship type of deal. I call it entrepreneurship because it allows you to play around with your gifts and your skill to see what works for you. Like you have an exploration stage, you have an exploration stage, then you have a mastery stage. No, exploration. You have an exploring stage, then you have a mastery stage, and then you have an overflow stage. So when you're exploring your gifts and your skills, you're like, oh wow, okay, I can do this, I can do that. You're discovering things about yourself. You're discovering how your skill set works. So you're like, oh yeah, this works for me. I can do this. So now I can go full entrepreneurship and use this skill full time to bring in my income. So that brings me to ask y'all this: what's your most valuable skill? That's what we need to ask ourselves. What's our most valuable skill? We had these jobs, we giving them this, that, and the third. We doing double entendres at work. We doing multiple things at one time. Not getting recognized for it. Matter of fact, maybe even getting downplayed for it. Might even get undermined. Might even get taken advantage of. Right? So what's your most valuable skill? I mean, right here. You can't. I got brother to brother right here. We didn't get to introduce yourself, so you got to talk to you a little bit. You got to open up. Everybody else open up. So it's on you now. What's your most valuable skill, brother? Matter of fact, tell us about yourself. Then we can get into the question. Let's do that.
All right, my name is Durham, or Jeremy, whichever one y'all want to use. I mostly go by Durham. I'm from Little Rock, Arkansas. And I'm a vet, like a Navy vet. I was in submarines. Worked as a tech for a while. Came here, was an engineer. Now I'm switching to healthcare. So I'm in nursing school.
Great field.
And I work in a mental health hospital.
Great field.
That's me.
Great field. So what you think your most valuable skill is working in those fields?
I can't even really call it. I think my most valuable skill is not even the hard skills that I have. It's the soft skills. For me, I think my most valuable one is curiosity. I think that's like a thing, and it's a skill to me.
Like in a sense of researching, or eager to learn?
Yeah, like how you exercise your curiosity. I feel like society kind of like dampens that a lot for us.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so a lot of people can't work themselves out of the situations as easy, or they have a hard time creating stuff around them. You know what I mean? So for me, I feel like my most valuable skill is curiosity, because it gave me, like, if you talk to any of my friends, like, it's not nothing I can't do with my hands. Like,
Absolutely.
I can figure it out, so.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it right there. What about you? What do you feel like your most valuable skill is?
It actually kind of sounds similar to that, but I say my superpower is the ability to make things happen. Folks say say that if I say I'm going to do something, they believe it's going to happen. So it's really through like my strategy, which is what I do. It's what I do for the Air Force. I'm an operation or director of operations for logistics. That's what I do for the pharmaceutical industry, operations management, and then obviously the properties that I own, and then the business that I own as well. Like the strategy that I put behind it, and the ability to connect things, connect the dots, connect people, connect resources, and just execute.
Execution, strategist, and
Connector.
like you're like a middleman for opportunity. I'm sorry, woman. My apologies. For opportunity. I like that. Anybody else want to share their most valuable skill? That's a good question, right?
It is.
The reason, go ahead. Go ahead. I saw your face like you had me laughing.
Because it's hard. I have so many gifts and talents,
Mhm.
so it's hard to put everything in like one box. I'll say singing, and I have not really tapped into where I should be.
Mhm.
But I've always put it on the back burner. So
Vocalist.
I'm a vocalist.
It's a powerful skill. Very powerful skill. What about you?
I would definitely say that I have a very natural ability to help people recognize their greater strengths and to hone in on that and development,
Personal development. Mhm. Mhm.
and natural encourager and helping them see through some of those obstacles that comes naturally to me. I do that on my job with my team and others around me. So.
Pouring into people is your superpower. Okay. So this is good. We're gonna get some money. So with those things that y'all just named, before I say that, would you like to share what your most valuable skill is?
I would say, being that I am in the healthcare field, patience,
Mm.
because I have ran through a lot of challenges. Just when it comes to like dealing with families and just the work challenges, like staying motivated, knowing that I am doing this and it's a purpose why I'm sticking to it, and just loving what I do, because I have seen a lot of people that they stay in a field for a long time and they truly they're not happy, they're not satisfied with all the hard work that they did. So I feel like it's just very, very important to me that I'm keeping my patience in this field, basically.
I love that. I just read something about how time is really is an illusion. Our time is really our existence in motion, and we should think about life as an unfoldment, having patience, giving yourself grace. You can unfold things and gifts within yourself that you can use to impact people. These skills that y'all just named, hone into them and say, well, how can I use these skills, turn them into services, and impact the most people that I can ever in my life? Because the skills that y'all just named are phenomenal. Narrow them down. Curiosity. Curiosity to me relates to research. Research to me relates to finding answers to solutions that other people can't find. That's what business is all about. It's finding a solution to a what? Curiosity. I like that a lot. Let me tell you a little story. So I come from a background of like, I come from a very, I probably lived about 4, 5, 6 people lives before. Like, I'm probably, in my 7th life or so. I'm cool with it. It's fine. I'm a light worker. So I embodied hip hop. I put in a lot of work on the North Carolina hip hop scene, right? Traveled around, I was a MC, writer. I am an MC, writer, creative. My skills of an MC led me into being a creative, which is why I do the creative. I say I'm a creative entrepreneur because I use my creative mind and powers in my entrepreneurship, and that's what I channel and that's what I implement into my business now. But when I was doing that, I was writing music, going to the studio. I probably was doing music. That's why I relate to the vocalist. I probably was doing music since I was probably about 12 or 13 years old is when the first time I might have wrote my first rap, and then I went to the studio and I just fell in love with hip hop. And my mom used to buy me albums from Willie's over by Walmart, by Bradtown. So like my mom really put me on to the hip hop thing. I was just like a hip hop head at a very young age, right? I got a book called Hip Hop in My Soul that I published back in 2016 where I talk about how Cowboy was probably, if not, Pig Feet Malcolm, with Malcolm Street in Durham, was actually probably the first MC in hip hop history. He left here to do the blackface shows up in New York. But anyway, from that background, I took those skills. I also have like thousands and thousands of views in battle rap, which is, that's a different form of writing and a different intricate way of using your penmanship. And I took those skills of public speaking, being able to look people in the eye, being able to write and format songs, being able to operate software, being able to go in front of a crowd, speak how I'm speaking to y'all now within a rhythm though. No music behind me, just straight raw lyrics. I learned how to relate to people through hertz, vocalists, hymns, doing things of that nature. I learned so many different skills from being an MC. I found out so many new things from being an MC. I found that it was just a quick fix because I was just truly a writer, a passionate writer. That's probably my most valuable skill. Is the ability to be able to write, But I had to go through exercising my gifts to find my purpose and get into knowing that I could use those skills that I acquired when I was in hip hop into my entrepreneurship. That's why so I took those skills, and we all know as artists, sometimes it's hard to monetize because it's oversaturated, the game done changed with streams and all of that. So I said, you know what, cool. Now that I know my purpose, because I made a decision. In health, you're dealing with the healing of the bodily function. In wellness, you're dealing with the healing of your whole existence. The financial part is gonna come, the dollars are gonna want you once you start healing that existence. When I took those skills and I put it into my entrepreneurship, I monetized my mind, I monetized my way of writing. I'm a 3-time published author. I work my books, I network them. I got into holistic healing. Of course, I'm a wellness coach, but not only that, I do subconscious mind training. I also do virtual coaching. I do herbal treatment with my patients, one-on-one coaching. But all of this I learned by way of being an MC and exercising my gifts early on in my life. Taking the skills that y'all just named is what I did. Took those skills, revamped them, rebranded, changed my thought patterns by way of my dietary law, and implemented it into entrepreneurship. Now I consolidated everything. Now when I do creative music, when I do these things that I gain skills, it's all in my brand script. It's all a part of my business. It's all a part of my business. It's all a part of my brand. I'm very intentional because it's all about monetizing your skill set. Your skill sets get the bills met. Mind you, I said skill set map. We throw a postal stamp on that skill set map because we sticking to it till we get to the destination. The mental image that you created for yourself, got to stay loyal to who you want to become. You got to, whatever it takes. See, I was willing to do whatever it took. I didn't care. I woke up with epiphany. I was like, okay, if it takes for me, I was fruitarian for a year. My bro will tell you. My intuitive abilities increased. I was able to tap into parts of me that I never even knew existed. When you want money, money will want you. What you desire desires you. It's just all about how deep you want to go on your inner path. It's whatever work you avoiding, don't avoid it no more. Do it, because the more discipline I implemented within myself, self-discipline, the more money I made, the more my finances increased. Then I got in therapy. Once I got in therapy, my inner dialogue I cleaned that all up, right? Once I cleaned my inner dialogue up, I started vending. Never vended a day in my life. My first year in business, no lie, he'll tell you I did the best. They tell you the opposite. Oh, you ain't gonna make no money your first year in business. My first year in business, I was able to generate from nothing $25,000 from vending at the Black Farmers Market during COVID, smack in the middle of the pandemic, when people were looking to do what? Boost the immune system. What product did I have? A very impactful one. Herbs, sea moss, and an ability to communicate. It's one of my most valuable skills too. Being able to communicate my offer properly, talking to consumers. They not only did they not want to buy my product, they wanted to buy into me. They're like, dang, some people knew my journey. Like, dang, I just heard one of your songs and you were just traveling, you did a battle rap here. Like, yeah, all that's cool, but guess what? It led me right here in front of you, impacted you doing what my true soul purpose is. And that's servicing you and promoting planetary wellness, because now I've been vegan for 8 years. And at this point, nothing else matters other than what I'm doing right now in the moment right now. Those skill sets that I learned is what I'm implementing right now to generate income in my entrepreneurship journey, my creative entrepreneurship journey, right? So all the things that I did along with my molding my skill set, it established my authority as an entrepreneur. I got to attribute it all to self-work. Inner workings. Inner workings brought me a lot of income. Inner workings equals income. I'm just keeping it real. So the self-investment strategies is the spiritual solution. The self-investment strategies, exercising your gifts, that's what's going to lead you to your purpose. Your purpose is going to lead you to monetizing your skill set. Because when you're doing your gifts, you're just really working your skills. Whether you're working them for yourself or you're working them for somebody else. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's time. I think I'm not going to take up a whole lot more of y'all time. But it is one more thing that I wanted to say that I talked about too. It was basically how when we get down in our emotions towards money, when we don't have it, or when we do have it, and asking ourselves, do we make the money or does money make us? We know that they make the money in Washington. That's where they make the money at. We don't make the money. We earn the money. We earn it. You know what I mean? So when we're feeling down like that, it's like, it can be of course our income is a reflection of who we are. How much are you in your bag? How innovative and creative can you get to get you $1? It's a challenge, right? It's a challenge, but it doesn't define who you are. You define who you are. You validate who you are. So who are you? Who are you? That's where your millions are. That's where your treasure is. That's where your fortune is. Everything is there. Everything you desire desires you. But you got to go to the treasure within, into your best investment, which is your self-investment. Financial wellness is about your financial existence, how you feel about money, how money feels about you, knowing that dollars want you. I'm so rich right now, creativity. I know for a fact I'm already a millionaire. If you want to be a millionaire, you have to become $1 million. If you want $1 million, you have to become $1 million. How do we become $1 million? How do we become $1 million? add value to ourselves, mastering our skill set. When we master it, what's the skill set? Vocalist, boom, off the top, monetizing on IPOs. You're a vocalist, high pitch lessons, how to use your vocals, what herbs to use to heal your vocals, to keep them in a good condition to be able to sing and coach. What's hertz? What's the difference between hertz? What pitch is this pitch? Let me show you how to use your voice over instrumentation. Let me show you how to become the instrument. That's a valuable skill you have. Very valuable. Unlimited outcome and possibilities with that skill. You understand what I'm saying? So it's just about knowing how valuable you are. You're so valuable. I'm in front of y'all right now talking it, but I'm telling you, I ain't doing nothing but reprogramming, reminding, and refreshing my subconscious mind. I strive to be the best student. I ain't up here teaching nobody. I ain't teaching nobody nothing. I'm learning. Teacher's the best student. I'm not teaching, I'm learning. Going through the things that I need to go through to keep it in my subconscious. That's it. So, I hope this helped. Like I said, I'm more in spirit than I am informative. I'm up here off a high of just knowing, and not more than knowing, feeling. It's all in the feeling. I feel very rich. I'm so rich. Dollars want me. Henry Brown, get that book. Dollars want me. Why? Because I'm so valuable. I wake up to emails, hit my website, wake up to coaching session. Why? Because I'm constantly working on myself. I'm constantly being a disciple of discipline. I'm constantly pouring into myself. You got to pour into yourself to pour into others. It's not selfish. We got to clean our own doorstep. We out here how I'm going to be out here trying to heal people? I ain't doing no self-healing. I've been in therapy for a year. Dialogue clean inside. Can't tell me nothing. You know what I'm saying? So it's really a deep, what I want to leave you with is just invest in yourself. That postal stamp, put on that skill set map, stick to that destination. You go into that location, whatever mental image you created for yourself, it's going to clarify. Just keep going. Keep adding value. Keep understanding that people are buying into you. Self-share, challenge, step into the unknown, do something you ain't never did before. When I'm telling y'all something from experience. When I started self-sharing, I was just growing my locks. My hair was defying gravity, sticking straight up in the hair. I ain't had no shape up. I didn't care. Don't listen to the message, listen to the message. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, one of my biggest flexes is I could care less of what anybody thinks about me. Why would I care? Why would I ever care about that? Other than the fact I want you to think that I'm a good serviceman, that I'm gonna have a good product, I'm well presented. I want you to think well of me in the business of wellness. Yeah, I care about that. But I don't have to care about that because it's a part of my existence. It's how I move on a daily basis. It's me. I embody it. So I don't have to worry about that. So why would I worry about what anybody cares or thinks about me? I validate me. You validate you. Self-validation, validation comes from within. Validation, that money in motion. Self-validation gets that money in motion. Step into the unknown. Cut that check. One more thing, too, I wanted to say. I was talking to this farmer the other day, and he was telling me how he was growing greens and kale. And he showed me a picture of it. And I said, what's that plant over there beside it, beside the greens and the kale? He was like, oh, that's sage. I said, why you got sage right there? He said to keep the bugs away. The environment. So, yeah, I went through a lot of solitude. I was real recluse. I isolated myself from a lot of people that was close to me or that I thought was close to me, but I had to get close to me. And I was different because, you know, I'm very into planetary wellness. I don't believe in the cruelty of animals. I don't eat dead flesh. So I'm probably not going to come to the cookout if I don't have to. I will fellowship with my people. Of course I'll come. Yeah, of course, you know, but sometimes it's best. I needed to gain the strength on my own to be able to come around people to be able to be in that environment. Everybody not going to understand your path, your vision. Well, the more you come one with it, the more you're going to run that bag up. Finances will not be a problem. Your current flow is your currency flow. I promise you. That's what you got to keep in mind. So when I did that, I changed my environment. I was able to keep the bugs away. I got the bugs off of me. I was able to blossom like a phoenix. I came out. People didn't even recognize me. I barely recognized me. I don't know who I am really half the time, in a good way though. Peeling off layers of myself I never even knew was there. I tell you what though, it feels good to make legitimate money, not have to worry about anything or having to watch my back or having to worry about dwelling in the past, about a nostalgic self-image that don't mean nothing no more. Only thing that matters is the now, right now. That's it. So I hope this helps y'all. And wow, I love settings like this because we can really I get emotional, man, talking about it, man. So it's like, it's just us in here. We just like building. So I'm gonna just open it up. If it's anything like anybody want to talk about, we can get into it, man. We can build. I'm pretty much done with what I wanted to speak to y'all about today. I appreciate y'all. I have so much gratitude for y'all being here. Like Temet said, like y'all here for a reason. You know, it's a good time, to be honest, to be around somebody like me. Because the frequency that I'm getting off in my electromagnetic field right now, I promise you, you're going to get something from it, energy transfer. I promise you that. That's not coming from a conceited or place of arrogance. It's coming from a place of truth. Because I know what I do. I know the work that I do within, and I know I'm serious about what I do, and I know I'm dedicated to being the most innovative wellness coach that this world has ever seen. Once you make a decision on who you're going to be, ain't no stopping you.